Hey, Matt Gillogly here, and I want to talk to you today about how to generate revenue, or how to generate, I should say, money for you to advertise to new clients. Now, one of the big issues that I see with doctors on a regular basis is that they want to grow their practices, but they've been burned quite a bit. They have tried Facebook, they've tried other things, and quite frankly, nothing has really moved the needle when it comes to generating new leads so that they can do more procedures. So what I want to share with you today is how we've done it in our clinics, and how I've done it for other clients, and how to generate revenue and income for you to be able to basically self-fund your own advertising, okay? Now this is a very, very simple process, but there are some very unique things that you need to understand about it, okay? And so over the next series of videos that I'm going to create for you, I'm going to talk specifically about that, like how to accomplish it. Okay, so the first thing is that you'll see my little board right here, really high tech around here. What we're going to do first and foremost is I want you to market to your top 20%, okay? Here we go. So we're going to market to your top 20%. Now, why do you want to market to your top 20%? Well, there's a basic concept called the Pareto principle. It's the 80-20 principle. Most likely you have heard of it. And the 80-20 principle is very simply that 20% of the people generate 80% of the income. If you are in a volunteer organization, 20% of the people do 80% of the work, or 20% of the people generate 80% of, or make 80% of the donations, okay? So this concept plays into your practice as well. Now in future videos I'll actually show you some data from our clinics and that will prove this point out. But when we did an analysis of our clinics, what we realized is, hey, guess what? 20% of our patients were generating 80% of our income. So what we did was we flipped the model. What we decided was that instead of marketing to the 80% to get them to convert, what we did was we actually started marketing to the top 20%. And guess what? Revenues went up, okay? Which self-funded revenue growth for us, and self-funded actually for advertising, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is that you're going to market to your top 20%. The next thing you're going to do is we want to create a special one-time offer. Now, you might say to yourself, but Matt, I've already done special one-time offers. Matt, I've already emailed my list. Well, I can promise you this. If you were to follow some of the things that I show you to do, I could show you how to go back to exactly to that same list and generate more revenue and more income. Why? Well, first and foremost, email deliverability is way down. Two, you're an expert at being a doctor. We write copy. I'm going to show you how to write copy that gets people motivated to buy, okay, or to come into the clinic. And then thirdly, quite frankly, you need to market to them in different ways. You can't just rely on email, because email deliverability is just falling through the floor, okay? So we're going to market to them a very special one-time offer. And then the last thing we're going to do is, as we generate that revenue, is we're going to take 30 to 50% of that revenue, factoring in your costs. You got to factor in what's your cost of the procedure and your staff and all of that, but we're going to take 30 to 50% of that revenue, and we're going to go out and we're going to buy more traffic. So for example, if you were to generate $10,000 in new revenue, we would want to take at least $3,000 of that to start buying new traffic, with that same kind of messaging, to go out and generate more new patients, okay? So we're going to basically use our existing client base, our existing patient base, to grow and get revenue to buy more traffic, okay? So this is a very simple concept. So here's what I want you to do. Just take a look at your list. Talk to whoever in your list, or in in your office, who is really kind of the keeper of that list. Hopefully you have somebody. Hopefully you have a list somewhere. If you don't, that's another conversation, which we'll talk about in the future. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a look and see who are the top 20%. You should be able to run some kind of sort or query on Excel to be able to figure out who is the top 20%. And once you do that, then in our next video, what I'll do is I'll talk to you specifically about what you're going to do to message to them in order to generate new revenues to go out and buy new traffic. All right.